Welcome back to MCP Connects. Today we travel to beautiful Salobreña, Spain for a conversation with our new friend and soul legend, PP Arnold. She's worked alongside some of the biggest names in music, but views herself as a healer and a light bearer rather than a celebrity. Today she talks about music as love, and she shares that love with our rock stars around the world.
Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Just press my teeth before you leave me, baby. Anything go like you used to. You don't know what it's like to love somebody.
Joining us from Salobreña, Spain, the incredible soul goddess, PP Arnold. Thank you so much for joining us and spending some time with us. How are you?
I am just so well, despite everything that we're all going through. I am just well, I'm blessed, and so, just giving thanks to, to be hanging in here, dealing with this chaos.
I think that says it. It's chaos. It's crazy, and it's from day to day so hard to know kind of what to expect or what is coming next. How are you staying positive and upbeat and engaged through all this?
Well, I just kind of look at it like this, it's like some things that you just don't have any control over. You just have to put it in God's hands.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done. I've just put it in his hands, and I'm just trying to stay as productive and creative and positive as I can, and I've been, it's just been full on for me. I'm here. I have a house in southern Spain, so I'm here locked down. I've been locked down in Spain on my own. It's like an inner space, isn't it? It's like just like going inside and working from the inside out. That's what I've been doing. It's been very educational. I've been learning to do things that I wasn't doing before, like recording here at home. I put together a little, sort of lockdown studio vibe here with my computer, and I've got a nice mic, and I'm, been working remotely with musicians in the UK and doing various virtual concerts and just doing lots of different things, just like being a part of like trying to help in any way that I can from where I am, like to raise money and to raise funds for all the different, the NHS and all the different health care workers and doctors and nurses, and just trying to be a part of everything. Like lots of musicians, we're hit really hard,
very hard
by this whole thing. So I've done different virtual concerts for causes to help, support musicians and to keep live venues alive, because there's so many really amazing venues that are sort of, nobody knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And even though things seem to be changing slowly, very slowly for us, because it's going to be difficult. We don't know how this thing is going to pan out. How do you social distance a gig.
Right,
You
right.
know, our whole life is about, you know, gathering people together,
Yes.
you know, in close quarters, you know, in clubs and in festivals and all the festivals, all my festivals. I was doing Glastonbury this year. It was my
Oh,
first, it would have been my first solo Glastonbury. And, you know, but, you know, it is what it is.
right.
And hopefully it'll be on next year. But, you know, I had so many, you know, fabulous festivals and concerts because I had released my latest album, The New Adventures of PP Arnold, in last year and toured it and opened up the door for
Yeah.
2020.
Sure. That's
So
so hard. I mean, you released a new album, you toured it, you got the word out there. Like you say, you know, you put that calling card out there and set up an amazing year of tours, and now you're home. So how do you? I mean, we've interviewed a number of artists that have just released albums and couldn't tour them, you know, and now they're kind of hanging in that middle ground of how do we move forward, you know? So. Um, what do you do? How do you stay positive about where you're at? Because like you say, you just made this big move and had a big year queued up and ahead. What do you do? How do you keep your chin up?
you know, my whole career has the unexpected has ruled throughout. You know, I've been out here like 50, over 50 years, professional, singing
Yes.
professionally, and never ever even planned. It wasn't an ambition of mine to be a professional singer.
Really?
I, oh no, never in my wildest dream did I ever think about being a professional singer in the music industry. I was born into a family of gospel singers, and I grew up singing in church and doing that, and it was just a day in the life. Some girlfriends wanted to audition with Ike and Tina Turner to be Ikeettes, right? And
Yeah.
the girl that was supposed to go with them let them down. So they called me out of desperation. You know?
Oh, no way.
They called me out of desperation just to go to this audition and help them get the gig. You know, so
And
so I went to the audition and we finished. You know, 1 minute. Like my life was in a funny place at the time, and I had said a prayer. I had prayed and asked God to show me a way out of the situation that I was in,
okay.
and boom, God answers prayer.
The door flew
Sure, He
wide
said He
open.
does. So like almost an hour after that prayer, my girlfriends call in desperation. They don't take no for an answer. They come, they pick me up. And an hour after that, I'm in Ike and Tina Turner's living room singing, dancing in the streets. So,
Wow.
so
I mean,
that's
who
how
would have thought, right, when the phone rang that was like destiny calling, you know? And it just
Des-
opened an entire different
it
experience,
did.
a whole new direction in your life. And then from there, you went on to work with the Rolling Stones, correct?
I did. I sang with Ike and toured with them for a couple of years in the States, and I was blessed to be with them at the time when Tina made this great record that Phil Spector produced, River Deep Mountain High, and it was a flop in America. It was crazy. It
Huh.
flopped in the States because it was just like a new thing, like in those days, we were still dealing with a whole bunch of racism and
Sure.
all of
Yeah.
that, and so well, unfortunately, that's kind of still going on, but you know,
Yeah.
but really was bad. And so like the black stations didn't play the record because it was too white, and the white stations didn't play the record because it was too black. So that's how that
No
record did
way.
not
Really?
hit in America at that time. But, it was a big, big smash hit in the UK.
Got it.
So Argentina were invited to go to the UK and tour with the Rolling Stones. You know, the Stones were big fans of Argentina and River Deep, and so yeah, so I was with them at that time, and so there I was in the UK at the height of the swinging '60s, and it was just magical. It
Huh.
was really magical, and we were touring with the Stones, and we became friends with the Stones. I became friends with Mick. Mick and I became good friends, and I was teaching him how to do the mashed potatoes and helping him with his dance moves and things. And we used to, after the gigs, they would take us out to all the discotheques, and it was just a whole totally different scene
Sure.
than what was happening in America. It was just like the Chitlin circuit, Holiday Inn, check in, next gig. We were, just a totally different scenario to suddenly be in London, England, at the height of the, rock
Yeah,
and
kind of the
roll
British
revolution.
invasion, before it.
Yeah,
That's
that's right. And to come here, I mean, the Rolling Stones. I didn't, I had heard Satisfaction, but I thought that was Otis Redding's tune.
uh,
I thought Satisfaction was Otis Redding's tune. So I didn't even know anything about the Rolling Stones or
sure.
anything. And so suddenly we were there, and at the end of the tour, like I was invited to go to lunch with Mick, and afterwards we're having a walk in Regent's Park, and he, makes me this proposition of, his manager was Andrew Lou Goldham, who was the manager of the Rolling Stones at the time, and Andrew had a new independent record label, one of the first independent record labels of the time, Immediate Records. And they invited me to stay in the UK and sign to Andrew's label.
Wow.
So not only had I never even dreamed of like being in the music industry, I certainly never dreamed of being a solo artist.
Right. Sure.
So God works in mysterious ways.
And then First
And
Cut did First Cut is the Deepest come out on your debut album?
on Immediate, the Immediate record label.
Okay.
My first album was called The First Lady of Immediate Records.
Oh,
And
nice.
I was also blessed to be in the right place at the right time when Cat Stevens wrote that great song, The First Cut is the Deepest, and he gave it to me. Yeah.
Man, well,
So,
I
which
mean,
is
that's incredible company, I mean, to go and what was the time span? I mean, that was a couple of years from.
no. We're talking 6 months.
Oh
We're
man.
talking we're talking 6 months from the time that we were Argentina. We were there say like to September '66, and First Cut was released in '67. So I was a young teen mother, and I had been in a teen marriage, a really bad situation. So I called my mother, and because my mother was looking after my kids while I was on the road and
Uh-huh.
everything, and so we just sort of, my mother said, well, check it out. So
Sure.
6 months. So it was a deal. It was like 6 months. I would stay for 6 months and see what would happen. And if nothing happened, I would come home. And if something, I would come home and get my kids.
Okay.
And 6 later, I had the hit with First Cut is the Deepest. And I went home and I brought my kids to the UK. And so we spent, I spent the majority of my adult life, and my kids grew up in the UK.
Wow, what a whirlwind. I mean, from, like you say, from no ambitions to being a professional singer, performer, to being, I mean, to creating music with some of the biggest names in the history of music. And, you know, and now, I mean, truly an international woman of mystery living in Spain with residency in the UK, right? And the United States of America. Wow, what a journey.
Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been quite a journey. And it's still going on,
Yeah.
because it hasn't been easy. It hasn't just been, it's been a long, hard fight,
Yeah.
really, because, when you're young, you don't really know anything about the industry or anything. So, and you probably heard everybody in the 60s got ripped off,
Yeah,
you
sure.
know,
Right.
Beatles got ripped off, But I was blessed, to like just before I just my last album the New Adventures of PP Arnold was released last year, and it was produced by a guy, Steve Craddock from the Ocean Color scene. I don't know if you know of them.
No,
The
I'm not
Ocean Color
familiar.
scene. Do you know of Paul Weller?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Paul Weller was Steve Craddock. He plays guitar with Paul Weller as
Okay.
well. And the Specials. He also plays with the Specials.
Okay.
And so Steve produced the album, and Paul. I have like two songs that Paul Weller gave me for that album, "Shoot the Dove" and "Pictures." It's a lovely album. It's got a real sort of retro vibe about it.
Yeah.
Beautiful arrangements, real strings and
Nice.
horns, and yeah, it's really, really lovely. But and then a couple of years ago, I released an album that was never released in the '60s. That was produced by Barry Gibb and Eric Clapton.
Wow, okay.
Uh, yeah, and I had to fight for 50 years to get the license to release my music.
Uh,
And finally got that license after that long fight, and I released it. And the title track, which is a song that was written by Barry, is called "The Turning Tide." So the album is called "The Turning Tide," and that's a very interesting album. That's with just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Barry Gibb ballads and Eric Clapton productions with the Dominoes are playing all the Derek and the Dominoes, all those guys from the Delaney and Bonnie band are all playing on that with
wow.
Rita Paige, and yeah, so yeah, it's just amazing. I
It
had
is-
toured with them. I had opened up Eric's tour. He did a
Oh,
tour
okay.
with Delaney and Bonnie and Friends with George Harrison and my old friend Billy Preston from the whole gospel scene. And yeah, and after that tour, we went in the studio and recorded these tracks, and so they finally saw the light of day. And that album is still doing well. It did well, and it opened the door for the New Adventures. So
Okay. Wow.
yeah.
Congratulations. I mean, what an amazing, what an inspiring journey you've had. It's incredible. So with all of these years, like you say, 40 plus years of playing and making music and touring and seeing other countries and other walks of life, what is the most profound music memory you have?
Wow, I've had quite a few. I've had quite a few. I would say, I have to say, Ike and Tina Turner, working with them, that was pretty profound. Musically, it was just like amazing. All the other stuff everybody knows about, that was difficult, but musically, to be able to start my musical career
Yeah.
working with, Tina Turner, it was like going to finishing school. Working with her, she's always been simply the best. And Ike Turner, musically was just a great band leader and a great musician with all those great musicians. So that, and then, yeah, going to England and being able to work with, produced by Mick Jagger, because Mick produced the first half of my album, and Andrew Oldham produced the other half. And you know, to just to be a part of that whole revolution of music, me coming out of the civil rights revolution into rock and roll revolution, with my friend, my good brother Jimi Hendrix. At the same time, we were in the UK, you know, projecting at the same time. So it was a pretty that whole period was pretty monumental.
No question.
Really. You know, just to be a young girl, you know, who knew nothing, to come into, you know, God just placed me in there.
Yeah. Well,
You
and
know,
how does that feel? I mean, like you say, there was a lot happening, right? I mean, there was out of the civil rights movement and the racial tension and all that kind of thing. Did you feel that music was kind of a bridge that brought people together and alleviated some of those tensions, or what did that mean?
Absolutely. Music is always a bridge. You know, not only is it the bridge that brings people together, it's a healer.
Yeah.
You know, the healing. So that's why, you know, for me, I think of myself as a healer. I don't think of myself as a celebrity or whatever, you know. It doesn't, you know, okay, I've been up and I've been down, but all around, but I'm still here. And God has a reason. For me, I feel that I'm a healer. I was born into this. I first sang my first solo when I was 4 years old, and everybody in the church started shouting. So I thought, wow, you know, it was like you make people happy.
Yeah. Right.
So what you do, you know, I sing before I open my mouth. I always ask God to let His light shine in, through, and all around me, and touch the hearts and the souls of everybody in that auditorium, be it, you know, a small club or 30,000, 100,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, my whole aim is to try and touch that person right at the back of the auditorium. I want him to feel me and to feel that love, because that's what I do. It's not about me.
I think that's incredibly powerful. You know, that intention of you going into your music, almost not even as a musician, right? But like you say, as a healer. Through these interviews, we've had a number of artists say that they see it more as a service. They are here to provide a service to people. Do you think that kind of fits?
Yeah, it's about uplifting people, and especially at these times that we're going through, you know, well, these times we've always been going through. Music is that bridge that brings people together, you know, black, white, brown, yellow, you know, the Mars. I know they're hearing us up there on Mars. You know, they know what's going on down here. You know, and, you know, so many great artists, you know, like all the great souls that have come through and like kept us healed and kept us, you know, like dealing with all of the man's humanity.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The tension of humanity, you know, just the,
you know.
Yeah.
So
after 40 years and all of these experiences,
nope.
and, you know,
I'm not ashamed. You know, it's been over 50. I think 50. I started singing professionally in 1964.
Okay, over 50 years. That's,
you know,
I mean, that's there. How could you possibly be ashamed? That is a badge of honor. That's incredible. So after 50 plus years, and incredible experiences, is it possible to wrap up what music means to you in one word?
Yeah. Love. Love. You know, it's a healer. I can't do it in one word. It's a save. It saved me. You
Yeah.
know, music in my life has saved me through many, you know, through the good times and through some really dark days as well, you know. So to have been given that gift to be able to express love, you know, from within, it's a beautiful thing.
No question. Absolutely. Thank you so much, by the way, for sharing your soul with all of us for the past 50 plus years. It's truly an honor to connect with you and talk with you right now. So speaking of music being love and being healing and having that ability to bridge and bring people together, you recorded a video and a song that you created specifically for these kids and these hospitals that we're sending love to, but do you have some specific kids and hospitals you'd like to dedicate this song performance to?
I would. I'd like to send out lots of love and light to Mason in Texas, to Paige in Florida, to Tessa in Washington, to Annie in Arizona, and to all the kids watching at Seacrest Studios, CHOC Children's, Orange County, Penn Medicine, New Orleans East Hospital, Children's Mercy, Kansas. I send you all oodles of love.
Beautiful. Are there any final words you want to leave with the world before we play your video?
I just like to send to pay respect to all the rock stars. I know you guys are dealing with like some serious situations, but our minds are strong and our spirits are strong. Stay positive, you know, try to keep that smile going, even when I know sometimes it gets really hard. But just give thanks and prayer. I know you have your little prayers that keep you going. Keep those prayers going. First thing in the morning and last thing at night.
PP Arnold, beautiful. Thank you so much for those closing thoughts and just for sharing your heart and your time with us. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Levi, for having me. But before I go, I'd like to dedicate a song to all my rock stars out there. And it's a song from my latest album, The New Adventures of PP Arnold, and it's called Baby Blue. Lots of love, everybody. Mwah. Don't hold me down another day. 6 of the best words you could ever hear him say. A symphony fell from his lips compared to earlier tunes he knocked together quick. Hadn't been any wider eyed or greener than the other girls you knew. Now you're baby blue. You should be standing out in peacock colors like you used to do before you were baby blue. Ooh. Nobody said, isn't he sweet? I wish instead of meeting you that he'd met me. The girls say, the boys say, well, I never did. And I say, come to tea on Tuesday. Hadn't been any wider eyed or greener than the other girls you knew. Now you're baby blue. You should be standing out in peacock colors like you used to do before you were baby blue. Ooh. Hadn't been any wider eyed or greener than the other girls you knew. Now you're baby blue. You should be standing out in peacock colors like you used to do before you were baby blue. Baby blue. You should be standing out in peacock colors like you used to do. Baby blue.
Thank you all so much for joining us. If you or someone you know is battling illness and needs support, you are not alone. Sign up today at melodiccaring.org. And a huge thank you to all our first responders and healthcare providers working so hard during this COVID-19 crisis. We appreciate you. I'm Levi Ware. This is the Melodic Caring Project.